welcome to the show. I am so stoked. We have been talking about getting you on, and then between your schedule and my schedule and our travels and my kids, it has not happened. So thank you for taking the time to come on. I'm going to jump in because I feel like you have so much to share with the world. And like, how do people not know about you? For those that don't know you, who you are and what you do, can you share a little bit about your journey and what it is that, what your gifts are for the world?
Oh my gosh. Okay, absolutely. First of all, thank you for having me on. It has been such a long process in getting here. And I was actually going to talk to you about sleep. Remember, in the times
Yes,
that I was doing sleep
yes.
after I finished a 30-year dental career. And now here I am talking about energy medicine. So before I share my journey, this is what I do. I'm a shamanic practitioner. I have been trained by the Andean shamans in a lineage that works with energy, and it creates transformation in my clients. So I help high achieving women clear the energetic weight and reconnect with their divine feminine power.
And
And
I'm one of those women.
yeah, and
Yes.
it's
Oh
such
my
an
gosh.
honor.
Yes. Thank you. A true gift, a true blessing to have in our lives for sure.
It was an honor to work with you. And we know things in our head, right? So what I do is I bring it into the body and I make your body a safe place with the energetic movement and working with the energetics. And I lead women into finding themselves. It's not just the mindset, but it's actually soul deep, as you do, right? The soul work. And I guide women to remember who they were or they are before the world told them to perform. It's about coming back to yourself and not trying to be something for other people, not performing, not chasing. And that's what the energetics does, right? And my story, wow, I grew up in a high achieving household. I grew up as a good Indian girl, and a lot of our listeners who are Asian will know what that means. And told to be quiet, sit quietly, be pretty, go and have an education, but don't have an opinion, right? Don't use your voice, right? And then I grew up. I was bullied at school. I got married and I was bullied by my in-laws. And not because they were bad, it was an imprint I was carrying around energetically, right? I attracted that. That's what I was reflecting and the fear that I was carrying. I when I became this high achieving dentist, this fee for service practice, went into full mouth reconstruction, did sleep apnea, started to teach it and consult on it, um, thinking that if the more I do, the more I'm perfect, the more I chase, people will love me. My in-laws will love me. People will love me, accept me. I will belong, right? And so I went chasing and I woke up one day and I felt so disconnected from myself. I was 49 years old. I'm 56 now. I'm 49 years old. And I was like, I don't know who I am. I don't remember who I am. I know what my two daughters like to eat. I know what my husband likes to eat. I know if I were to order for my team members, I would know what to order for them. I even know what they like. I don't know what I like. And from that disconnection just came a tiredness that was so deep, not even physical. It just was like this soul, like this weariness that was just inside me. And all of that also affected my health too. I became hypothyroidism. I had pre-diabetes. I had perimenopause at the age of 37 with total shutdown, adrenal suppression. All of those things manifested in my health. But what really was hard was there was no joy. I said no to everything. So anyway, and I know that a lot of us have been there or to a lesser degree or to an even worse degree, right? And I just remember one day I'd put out the fires at work, as we do, with a team, with the patients, right? With my husband, with my daughter, right? And I got home and I was so freaking tired. Sorry, so tired.
Oh, we are all good.
Okay, I was so freaking tired and I just wanted to lay down on my bed. And guess what? I'd taken the sheets off. And so I had to make the sheets, the bed again. And that was the day a fitted sheet broke me. And you know what I'm talking about, ladies, right? The fitted sheet, you put one corner on, you put the second corner on, and the first corner flips off. You put two corners on, and the third corner is on, and suddenly another corner just comes off, right?
That
And
isn't a metaphor for life. I don't know what is.
exactly, right? And I kept doing it. And 5 minutes later, I'm like, I am doing the same thing over and over again in everything. And I remember falling against the bed, sliding down, looking up at God and going, God, is there all there is? Because if I have to carry on doing this for another 10 years, I can't go on. I don't know how I could keep going. It's endless. And I cried. I said, F the sheet, went, had a shower, and just lay down on the mattress, what the hell? And then didn't think anything of it. And then a few days later, I started to have lucid dreams. And I guess that it was exactly that was the time my soul woke up and said it's time. And I never dreamt before then. Like if anybody asked me, what do you think of? What do you dream of? I'm like, it's blank, it's black. I don't wake up and I don't remember anything. And then I started to have this dream, and 4 nights in a row, this person came into my dream. He was now I call a shaman, but it was an indigenous person, painted in white, had feathers, dressed headdress, everything. And I'm sitting in a forest tending a fire. And he said, can I come sit by your fire? And I'm like, I don't know you. No. So he went away. Didn't think anything of it. But I'm like, woke up, that's strange. Second night, same thing happened. Send him away. Third night, same thing happened. Now I'm like freaking out. The fourth night, I'm like, oh, this is really weird. I go to sleep. He's back again, fourth night. And I'm about to say no. And he looks at me, eyes bulging, hits me on the head like this and says, silly girl, don't you know I'm an ancestor? And I'm like, okay. And he's like, can I sit by your fire? And I'm like, yeah, okay. And he sat by the fire. And we just sat there until the sun's, and I'm watching this in my dream. I'm awake in my dream. That's what lucid dreaming is. And the sun comes up and he turns to me and he takes this cornucopia and it is filled with light, and he puts it in my root chakra, an energy center, which is near the pelvis area. And he puts this light in me. Suddenly I have light pulsing through me and I wake up. And after that, things started to happen. My practice, I wasn't thinking of selling it, but my practice gets sold, right? Just before COVID. And synchronicities happen, feathers and numbers and animals and red cardinals. And it's like the universe started talking to me. And after that, the practice was sold. I sold it to a DSO. COVID happened. And during that time with COVID, and I know it was so difficult for so many people, but that time I woke up from the narrative I had been telling myself for so many years that dentistry was my passion. And it was at one point, but I kept saying it and I kept saying it, and it had become the identity that I was clinging to. And then I realized it wasn't. And I came out of COVID, going back to work as an employee, and things changed. My contract and everything, they started to, because of COVID and stuff and whatever. And I looked up again and I said, angels. By that time, I had angelic guides and all different guides. And I'm like, angels, like, this really sucks. Help me. Next thing I know, they've gotten me out of a 3-year contract with no penalty. I'm moved to Florida and I'm here. I'm like, what just happened? In over a period of a year and a half, life is completely different. Plus, the fact during COVID, I was writing in my new moon journals. I want to live near the ocean. I want to live where there's bougainvillea and hibiscus. And that's where I ended up. Next thing I know, universe says, I helped you. God says, I helped you. Now it's your turn. And I was sent all these signs to learn how to do energy medicine. And of course, if you hear about something like 4 times within 3 days, you know that that's a message. So I took it. Next thing I know, I'm doing a course on shamanic medicine. I'm also at the end of it asked to teach, which I love teaching. So it's so great to be able to give that back. And here I am. It's a long
So,
story, I know.
oh my gosh, I had goosebumps many different times. So you are, as we talked earlier before we hit record, in what I call your second act. So many of us high achieving women that are in our space are in this second act. Does it feel different than the dentistry, the dental office owner, practitioner, sleep coach, sleep consultant career? Was one more fulfill? I know the answer to this, but was one more fulfilling than the other?
You
Tell me
know,
about that.
yeah, that's such a great question because you know what? Honestly, when I was doing dentistry in the early years, right, it was fulfilling. It was something I was passionate about. Sleep was something I was passionate about. But we are all empaths to varying degrees. And here's the thing, you're an empath, I'm an empath. Majority of our listeners are empaths, and the ones that don't think they are really big empaths and they've just numbed down, right? And what happens is that in these careers, you absorb energy that is not yours. You absorb your patient's energy, you absorb pain, anger, frustration, fear. You absorb your team scarcity values, fear, perfectionism, imperfection. You're absorbing all of it. If you don't realize you're doing it and you don't know how to let it go, it becomes energetic weight that you are carrying to work every day, no matter what you do. No matter if you love your work, there's a weight. No matter how much I loved dentistry, it became the bag of bricks or the 20 bag of bricks that I was carrying around for 30 years just became too heavy and broke me. Same thing with, and I repeated the same patterns that I did in my short sleep career, right? And then when I understood, oh my gosh, this is what I did. I carried everyone's energetic weight. I took on responsibilities that weren't mine. I said yes to burdens that were not mine because I didn't know any better. And when I understood that through the energy work and I shed the energetic weight, as well as releasing 60 pounds of physical weight that came off with that slowly. This second act is not even a second act. It's just the way I live. I breathe it and I am it. I don't do it. And I say that because I haven't taken the same patterns that I did in my dental business and my sleep business. It's not the same. It's not hustling. It's not chasing. It's not doing it in a masculine way, right? Masculine way is we've got to do this. We've got to do this. This is the list. We've got to do this. I've got to achieve this. I've got to do this. No, 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 no. This is from a different approach. And this is where we've forgotten our femininity in this. We've forgotten that our divine feminine, when she's healed and ready, the divine wisdom, the divine knowledge, the intuition comes in. She's the one who receives the messages. And then the divine masculine in us does the aligned actions. But we're doing it the other way around. We're doing without. So no wonder we're tired.
Right.
Right. I don't know if that answered your second act, but
It
that's what it
did.
is.
No, it did. Um, Tell me this. You, like mentioned earlier, you grew up in that very traditional, what I call brown household mindset, right? Overachiever, amazing at what you do, grew up with a certain value system, probably even married into it. When you set upon this path, how did your family react or respond to this? You know, you have two
Yeah.
girls just the way I do, and they're beautiful young ladies. Um, with your immediate family, your spouse, your children, like how did they respond to this or react to it?
Yeah. Well, that's a great question. Nothing is easy when you're breaking out of the box, right? Um, but I broke out of the cultural box, the societal box, the girl box,
Yes.
yeah. And when I started to do this, at first my mother, especially because we all have a lot of us have the mother wound. And don't take this the wrong way. It's not about not loving your mother and your mother not loving you. It is about what is passed on through energy from your mother and grandmother and what we have to heal in our feminine line, right? And my mother was just like, oh my gosh, like you were this and now you're this, right? And all I can say is the belief in the divine and the supreme power and the universe kept me going. So it the medicine wheel that we teach teaches you to shed at first. And then it also shows you how to be fearless, like to walk into the shadows and walk into the unknown and not fear. You can be scared, but you still do it. That's fearlessness, right? And as for my husband, he couldn't understand it at all. And yeah, did it create dissonance? Absolutely. I mean, I think it was the worst time for our marriage because not only am I doing something different, but I'm finding out who I am. And when I found out who I was and reconnected with her, I found my voice, which many of us don't have or don't use. We've forgotten. We don't know how to express ourselves. We don't know how to ask for what we want. We've just not been taught or been given the space to be able to ask for what we want. And so when you start doing that with a spouse who's not used to it, of course that's going to be uncomfortable. But I stayed the ground, did it. And universe actually sent me a huge test with that. And at one point, it got so bad that I packed up all my shamanic tools, all my crystals, my drum, my rattles, my feathers, everything. And I couldn't sleep that whole night. And I came down at 5 o'clock in the morning and I unpacked it all. And my husband came down and goes, "What are you doing?" And I said, "You know what? It's really frightening and scary and terrifying to do this, to be this in a world where I came from science and now I'm suddenly this. To claim that I'm a shaman, that I work with energy and I see things and hear things. But you know what's even scarier is not being connected to the divine anymore if I give this up. So I choose God, universe, supreme power, highest source, whatever you want to call it. But I choose that. And you know what? I said, okay. And so I really truly believe that that was an initiation or a test. Right. Yeah. And
I've heard people say this to me as well, because I'm not quite as knowledgeable as you are, but I do believe in energy. I believe in manifestation. And I'll have people say, like, how does that even work? Like, what does energy work? Like, how can you do that with somebody who's sitting thousands of miles away? And the one response that I think to share with them, and not really a response, I guess a thought, is do you believe in microwaves? Do you believe in the power of the phone where you're
yeah,
picking up an instrument and talking to Mona, who is in Florida while I'm in Texas?
yeah,
And can you see those waves?
yeah.
And you can't.
Mm-mm.
And yet you believe in the power of that to transmit your voice to somebody in Florida, or
Yeah,
the power of invisible rays to warm up your food, or x-rays, whatever you want to
yeah.
talk about. Why would
It's
you
true.
not believe
Yeah.
in energy? Like,
Energy. Exactly. You're so right. And, we all know quantum physics, quantum entanglement is all out there now. And there's research done on it. But really quick, like, do this with me. Rub your hands really, really hard. Like, really, 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 really create some heat. Create some heat. And everyone who's listening, do this too. And now stop and just bring your hands apart. What do you feel? What do you feel? Right? A
Yeah.
little pulsing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That's your luminous energy field. That's the field around you. And your toric field, your luminous field, is 10 to 12 feet around you. So when you're brushing up against someone and you go, your field has already met theirs, and there's something that's not
The vibes don't match.
exactly. When you go into a room and you're already feeling apprehensive as you enter the room, your energy has already gone in there, right? So, yeah. And
Yeah. If only we
for
were taught to listen to that intuition, to the voice, instead of trying so hard to fit into boxes
be
and
polite.
yeah, the molds.
Yes. Oh,
Yes.
I don't, something's giving me an off signal, but I'll be polite. And then next thing you know, you're like deeper in a hole and you can't get out of it because
Correct. You're
you,
regretting every
yeah,
moment of it, and you're like,
exactly.
I don't know how to back out of this
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, really quick, I have to do a shout out to my future son-in-law. We were at dinner a few weeks ago. It was for my birthday. And, I said to them all, I'm so thankful for your support, right? And you know what he said? He's like, and he still calls me auntie, not mom yet because they're not married. Said, auntie, we may not understand everything that you do, but we support you. And that's really all that you need.
Exactly.
You
That's all.
don't you don't need for anyone to understand. You don't need anyone to validate what you do. That's it. But the love and support you get beyond that is all you need.
For sure. For
Yeah.
sure. Yes. Your daughter is very lucky. Well, I should say he is very lucky to have an amazing girl like your daughter.
Oh, they're both like,
They are.
yeah,
They
yeah,
are.
yeah.
I know you work with a lot of high achieving women and men, but mostly women. What are some of the common mindset blocks that you see come up among these high achievers? And just talk to me about that.
Mm. So very similar to what I told you about myself. There is there are core wounds, right? And limiting beliefs. And a core wound, like a core wound of abandonment or a core wound of rejection or wound of betrayal, can be expressed like 150 different ways. And so the high achieving people are relentlessly going and going and going. And then they hit the wall and they're tired and they're fatigued and they're burnt out and have disconnection to themselves. And that's why they're finding people like me. Okay. And so we go through what is the limiting belief? I track the energy. So as a shaman, we are taught to track energy and see where these imprints live in the body, in the energy centers of the body. Okay. So if someone is really high achieving, the driving force could be not feeling enough self-worth, right? Well, where does that come from? That self-worth could be from a core wound of abandonment. And so when did that get triggered? And we track it. And it's triggered in in childhood, but it is an imprint bought from a previous life or ancestral, generational, or it could be an outside energy that's kind of attached to your field. Okay. So think of yourself like, Meghna, you were born and you were like your pure essence was born, right? But you had no memory of who you are, right? So you're very similar to a beautiful Mac or PC. You go to a Mac, Apple store and you bring back that beautiful Mac and it's so clean and pristine and you open it up and it's fast and. And then suddenly it starts to take on viruses or programs that is not its own. Just like Magna growing up is being taught around her programs from society, from parents, from family, from school, from teachers, from her environment. And she's taking on those programs and not realizing that they may not be for her, right? And this Mac machine is doing the same thing. And what happens? It gets overrun and it slows down and it slows down and it slows down, right? And so the work that I do is an energetic clearing. I clear those programs out of someone's field. And so when we do that, the energy body, the physical body and the spiritual body start to align, and you start to actually remember who you are. And when you start to align with yourself and know who you are, suddenly the world becomes a safe place, and you're not operating from a place of fear or scarcity. You're operating from a place of oneness and neutrality. So I have a lot of clients who are like, they want to escape dentistry, right? They're tired and they're fatigued. I'm like, but you're making that decision maybe on scarcity or fear, burnout. Get your field clear, get yourself back before you start to see what are the other possibilities there for you, right?
Of course, the ideal solution for somebody that feels like this is to work with somebody like you
Yes.
until they are able to find a mentor, a guide, a coach like you. What is something that people that are struggling with this can do? And then a part two to the question is, what should we be doing in our everyday life to not get to the point where you're going to crash and burn? It's like you want to brush and floss so you don't get a cavity, right? What is
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
brushing and flossing going to look like?
Yeah. Oh, that's such a great question. So until, you know, just realize, first of all, that you're empaths and you need to let go of energy. Now, yeah, you're carrying around a lot of stuck energy, but you can still clear the new stuff, right? So grounding is very important. Okay. Going out into nature 20 minutes at least, unplugged. And if you can be barefoot in your garden and allow, the resonance of Mother Earth, of Pachamama, of Gaia to come in, and, that grounding is really beautiful. Even something like dry brushing of your energy and giving it to Mother Earth, especially between patients, if you can, because you sometimes carry the energy of a negative or a tough case into another room. You can meditation is one of the most powerful things that you can do, right? That stillness, in that stillness is where you start to discover yourself, right? And when you start to meditate, a lot of people struggle with it, and that's okay. And it's because you think you have to be like a monk, like sit up straight. You got to, no thoughts, no thoughts. Well, guess what? If somebody says, don't think of an elephant, the first thing you do is think of an elephant, right? So just sitting in stillness. Don't even call it meditation. Just sitting quietly, no phone, no tech, nothing. And what I like to say is if a thought comes, acknowledge it, but don't engage with. Acknowledge it, no judgment, let it go. And so maybe when you're sitting and breathing, bring attention to your mind, let the thoughts come in, and no judgment. Then pay attention to your body and see what it's speaking. Don't engage, just make a note, be aware. And then the last 2 minutes, just breathing and resting. So it's, awareness, resting, existing, just being. Even you do that for 5 minutes, that's enough. It doesn't have to be, like it doesn't have to be perfect, right? And there's so many guided meditations too, but that quiet stillness is where you start to really discover who you are. Spiritual hygiene. I mean, I go through a whole regimen, but what I would say is in the mornings, if you're stepping into this kind of, feeling or soul awakening, even just imagining that there's a beautiful white light flowing down into your crown chakra and just filling your body up with white light. And then that white light is flowing down into the ground, connecting with the heart of Mother Earth, and then allowing Mother Earth's energy to come up as well into your body and connecting heaven and earth. That's your central channel, right? And that will help your energy. And then imagine that white light pouring into your toric field, like a pod in a very simple terms. And just ask for that pure white light to filter out things that don't belong. And that that should help a little. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I love that you said, ask the white light to filter out things that don't belong. A lot of people say, and I've experienced it too, when you're clearing out what does not belong, it may seem like the world is falling apart around you, right? You'll
Yeah.
have toxic, which you didn't know were toxic friends exit your life, team members just up and leave, or like
Yeah.
just things seem like the your life is falling apart around you,
Yeah.
but it's actually sometimes making room for the new.
Yeah. Well, it's getting rid of what doesn't align with you,
Correct.
right? And let it. And it's not that it happens and there's dissonance. It's just that people drop away and let the universe take them.
Yeah.
Yeah, because your frequency, especially for so many people who are waking up, the light that you have, that you bring into this world, and we're all one, we're all connected, we're all aspects of one another. But the light that you bring into the world will shine so beautifully and it will attract people that want to just feed off the light, right? They don't want to change, but they just want to drain you like a battery.
Yes.
And when you start to understand that and you start to vibrate at a higher frequency, the universe, your guides, your team in the unseen world that are always there, your guardian angels, they actually help those people that don't belong just drop out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And don't resist it.
Yes. Yes. Make
Yeah.
room for what's meant for you.
Yeah. Exactly. And better comes along.
Yeah. Oh, I could sit here and talk to you forever. How can our listeners connect with you? How can they find you, learn more about what you're doing, and how you can help them?
My website and I'm on social media, but if you're on my website, there's a ton of ways to connect. I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram. Um, you can even, connect through my email, healinglightalchemy@gmail.com. And yeah, and I have a really beautiful little ebook on 10 myths of spiritual awakening and some exercises to help go through it. So
Yeah,
yeah.
and we will share all of these resources in the show notes. So for those listening in, we'll have Mona's website, her Instagram, Facebook handles, everything we know about her in there. So you know how to connect. And hopefully she can help you as well. Um, some last words of advice or thoughts that you wanted to share before we wrap up today's episode?
Um, there is such a beautiful awakening in our collective, and we really are moving to where the feminine is coming up, right? But it's not just about the feminine. If it's just about the feminine, we'll do the same thing that the masculine did.
And balance.
So it's about balance of life. It is about balance. And we balance by stopping, breathing, not filling our space with noise, and actually discovering self love. And I know so many people have said to me, but isn't that going away from spirituality? No, you've got to feed your soul. You've got to love your soul. You've got to love yourself so much that the well is so full that it spills over and nurtures everyone around you. But until then, you'll be feeding from an empty place.
There's not much to give when you haven't
No,
filled your own cup.
exactly. And when we finally accept all of us, the good, the bad, the ugly, but we love it all, that's when all the miracles happen. And so yeah, so I like everyone asked me, what if you sum up your journey for especially the last 3 years, it is a journey of self-love where I wake up in the morning and I go, I love Mona. And that's the feeling you want. Because when you're in that place, that's where the abundance comes in. That's where you start to manifest and you do all of those things, right? Oh, my hand goes high. So yes, those are my last words. That it all It's so simple. And it's looking into your shadows, bringing love to your shadows, and accepting that I'm angry, I'm frustrated, I'm insecure, I'm not good enough, I'm jealous. Accepting all that, seeing what messages they bring for you. And you know what? They don't have any power. And suddenly you're like free.
So good. So good. Well, thank you for sharing this and for sharing your gifts with me, with the world. And to our listeners, reach out to Mona. You know, like I said, we'll have all of her information in the show notes. Do follow her. Do download her ebook, all the resources that she shares. And she's so open and giving with her time, her love, her knowledge. So there's definitely lots for everybody to benefit. Thank you so much, Mona.
Thank you, Meghna. It was such an honor and pleasure. Thank you.